Hi, welcome back to our video series on ICO regulation around the world. Today I want to share some thoughts about Colombia. Colombian companies have historically struggled to raise funds due to its illiquid and young capital market and a culture of risk aversion. This has limited the country's potential to produce innovative businesses. In this context, ICOs appear as a valuable opportunity for innovators and for the national economy, which could benefit from the development of the tech industry. However, the lack of agreement and coordination among state agencies has worked against them. Let me start with an overview of the ICO activity in the country. What is happening and what is not happening. So what is not happening? What is not happening are initial coin offerings. To my knowledge, there hasn't been a single one thus far. But some things are happening. There is growing interest in fintech, blockchain, cryptocurrencies, and related technologies among both investors and developers. Just 6 days ago, leading Bitcoin companies in Latin America announced the creation of an association in Colombia tailored to promote favorable regulation for this industry. Financial institutions are also exploring opportunities, organizing workshops, and even competitions to sponsor promising developers. Other individuals in the financial sector and in academia share my view that ICOs could boost the tech industry in the country. On the other aisle, we find regulators and other state agencies which have openly expressed their skepticism, their concern, and even their rejection to these technologies. The dialogue among these two forces will determine the future of ICO regulation in the country. So let's take a look at the current stage of the regulation. First of all, as we have learned from this video series, due to the recent origin of virtual coins, there is no comprehensive regulation of ICOs. That is also the case in Colombia, which means that there is not a legal definition of what an initial coin offering is, and there is no clarity on the obligations and rights of issuers and buyers. One could think if it is not forbidden, it is permitted, or we can regulate that through contract. Yet, in the absence of regulation, it is quite the opposite. Since at least the 1980s, the guiding principle in Colombia is that all entities collecting funds from the public must be registered before the financial regulator and comply with financial regulations. That greatly explains why there hasn't been an ICO thus far, or if there has, why it hasn't been public or even relevant. As an alternative, some are advising companies to raise funds through a crowdsourcing mechanism, which could be feasible as long as the entity collecting the funds is registered before the financial regulator and that the funds are given as a donation to the project. The question then is, where is the coin? Where did the funder and how did the funder acquire it? I reject this position because A, it is misleading. This mechanism is not an ICO. There is no offering and no purchase. B, it departs the attention from the real debate, which is how do we regulate this valuable financing mechanism? And C, for a recent case, the superintendents of companies, which has jurisdictional powers over all companies in the country, ordered the liquidation of a crowdfunding startup for failing to comply with financial regulation. In short, the lack of ICO regulation means that it is not allowed, and trying to structure other schemes is not recommended. Interestingly, that has not prevented other state agencies to adopt official positions and binding decisions on cryptocurrencies. The central bank, or Banco de la República, which is the monetary exchange and credit authority in the country, stated that cryptocurrencies are not legal currencies, securities, or financial instruments. The financial regulator echoed that position and added that they are immaterial assets subject to tax. And finally, the National Tax Authority issued a directive classifying cryptocurrencies as a material asset subject to income tax. So what do we take from all this? To me, there is a perhaps not intentional but clear and strong discouragement to innovation. Entrepreneurs that have historically struggled to raise funds cannot raise funds through ICOs as of today. Investors who already have tokens or are interested in acquiring them already know that they're taxed and might consider other jurisdictions. In a sentence, there is deterrence in both sides. So these were my thoughts about Colombia. Feel free to share this video and let us know which other jurisdictions you would like us to cover. If you want to further engage in this discussion, take a look at our other videos and complementary content at Embark.Law and Boaltglobal.com. Thank you for watching.